John Amos. We can name so many roles that he played. Of course, we'll mostly know him for the role that he played being the Black TV father in Good Times. We remember the life and scratch our head as to the details of the end of his life. We'll touch on that and more. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson and Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live right now on the Real Wise Radio Network. And it starts right now.
My dreams come true.
Well, good morning, Shifter. It is Wednesday. Man, this week has gone by fast already. October 2nd, 2024, and welcome to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. I am the C to the O to the L to the E Johnson. And for the next 60 minutes, sit back and relax as we get and keep you involved, engaged, entertained, enlightened, and spiritually fed. Now, of course, along with the memory of John Amos, we're also going to touch on last night's vice presidential debate. It actually was pretty substantive. It was substantial. We'll touch on that in today's. I haven't gotten the exact segment of it yet. You'll find out when I do. And in lighting the way, we'll touch on hard work and work ethic and how much it is important in the kingdom of God. Now, that is all for later, but for now, let's start you up. And here's what's taking place in the world today. Israel likely had advance notice on Tuesday's missile attack because U.S. and Israel intelligence services monitor the mobilization and deployment of Iran's missile units, according to former U.S. military intelligence officers. How Israel and ultimately the Pentagon respond to the estimated hundreds of missiles fired at Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, and other cities will depend on how many of them are intercepted by Israeli and U.S. air defenses, says Mark Quantock, a retired Army Major General who oversaw intelligence for the U.S. Central Command. Firing ballistic missiles required Iran to alert and deploy personnel to launch sites. Movements that could be detected by satellites, Quantock said, and communication of those forces may also be intercepted. Good Lord. It was almost 1 year ago to the day we had this issue start in Israel, and now another war around there might start. Jeez. Get the hint. The U.S. military released video of an extremely close encounter between the U.S. Air Force jet and Russian military aircraft in the skies near Alaska on Monday. Can't be captured. The footage was taken September 23rd when the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, quote, detected and tracked four Russian military aircraft operating in the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIS, close quote. The ADIS, quote, began where sovereign airspace ends in a defined stretch of international airspace that requires the ready identification of all aircraft in the interest of national security, close quote. According to NATO, and it's where it is, U.S. and Russian military aircraft have routinely come to contact with each other. Yeah, people just want to go to war. A 43-foot statue of Donald Trump, a nude one at that, was put up in Las Vegas recently, but while the art piece is simply a spectacle for some, the Republicans have come to condemn it, as well as knocking Kamala Harris and Democrats in the process. Nice. Kill two birds with one stone. Now, The towering 6,000-pound foam display could be seen near Interstate 15 and is part of the, quote, crooked and obscene tour, close quote, Las Vegas TV station KTNV reported. Now, the meaning behind the crooked and obscene title comes from the, quote, controversial aspects attributed to both the figure represented and the nature of the installation itself, close quote. Also, that was reported by KTNV. The anonymous artist told the outlet the installation, quote, serves as a commentary on the transparency, or lack thereof, in politics, challenging viewers to think critically about political influence, close quote. It was unclear Tuesday if the statue was still standing. Lord have mercy, you can just simply ask, tell the truth to a politician. Vice President Kamala Harris will travel to Augusta in Georgia on Wednesday to tour damage caused by flooding from Hurricane Helene, with the future trip also in the works for North Carolina. The Democratic presidential nominee will survey the impacts of Hurricane Helene and receive the on-the-ground briefing about recovery efforts in the state, White House said. Harris also provide updates on federal actions in support of the emergency response to Georgia and other states along the southeast corridor. White House official confirmed that Harris in the coming days will be traveling to North Carolina, where the western part of the state, including Asheville, was battered hard by the storm. Now, if you're wondering about the burning red lipstick that Taylor Swift wears, I'm really not, but I know that I have to serve all the people. The answer has been revealed by the singer's makeup artist. Lori Turk unveiled the secret Tuesday morning on Instagram. On her story, Turk shared a picture of Swift at the MTV Video Music Awards with the caption, quote, so many people asking about this lipstick that Taylor wears all the time, close quote. On the next slide, Turk wrote that Swift's image from the first Chiefs game of the season, quote, it's NARS, or N-A-R-S, Morocco lipstick. She's worn it for years, close quote. Now, the lipstick, which comes at $26, is sold out, but customers can enter their emails to get an alert when Morocco is back in stock. Turk by herself has worked with Swift for more than a decade. Simone Biles wants to go to another Olympics, but maybe not summer. That's not out of the question, but she's not ruling out the question of Winter Olympics. The gymnast hasn't made any decisions yet about her gymnastics career or competing at the Los Angeles Games 4 years from now, but Biles does know that she's going to take a break when her Gold Over America tour, or the G, the O, the A, the T, or GOAT, get it, wraps up in November, and is looking forward to doing things she's never had time to do before, like cooking. She says it's a new passion of hers. She has a new restaurant, Taste of Gold. It's opening soon in Houston at Bush and Continental Airport. And she and her husband, Chicago Bears safety Jonathan Owens, they are planning trips across the world. Over the past decade, breast cancer rates have risen 1% a year, with the steepest increase occurring in women younger than 50, according to a new report published by the American Cancer Society on Tuesday. The study also estimates that more than 310,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in women in 2024, and more than 42,000 people will die from said disease, says Dr. Karen Knutson, CEO of the American Cancer Society, in a news briefing, quote, these are things we're watching to try to understand. Our commitment to the breast cancer problem will continue until that number becomes zero, close quote. Study authors have said that overall breast cancer deaths have decreased by 44% since 1989, but disparities persist. For example, rates among American Indian, Alaska Native women have remained unchanged over the last 3 decades. The report also found that black women continue to have a 38% higher breast rate mortality rate than white women, and breast cancer was the leading form of cancer death in Latinas. The following sports update is brought to you by the Playmakers Blog Network. All right, let's go to the courts, NCAA style. Well, actually, let's go to just simply college. College hoops powerhouse Gonzaga will be headed to the Pac-12 in 2 years' time. Gonzaga gives the Pac-12 major basketball power as the men have made the NCAA tournament 25 straight years, and the Lady Bulldogs, they are coming off of a Sweet 16 appearance this past season. Now, it don't do jack for football. I'm sorry, my bad. The Pac-12 has had preliminary discussions with Grand Canyon and St. Mary's, but will focus on adding more football playing programs where the money is made. Oh, I'm sorry. Now to the gridiron. Florida State's quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. He's undergoing testing to figure out options for a broken finger on his throwing hand in the loss against SMU. Uiagalelei is expected to miss the next few weeks. Brock Glenn will step in his place, and the next game is Saturday at home against the Dabo Swinnys. Clemson. To the gridiron. And the Bills' defensive end, Von Miller, gets suspended yet again. 4 games by the NFL for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. The reason for said suspension is unclear, but it's believed to be from allegations that Miller assaulted his pregnant girlfriend 11 months ago. Raiders open to trade Davante Adams. They have informed other NFL teams, the Raiders that they would consider trading 3-time All-Pro wide receiver Davante Adams. And no, fools, the Chiefs shouldn't even be considered. Davante Adams to the Chiefs for a 1st and a 5th, who turned that Derek trade down. The Raiders, fools. I'm sorry. Woosah. WNBA action resumes. I'm sorry, it was resumed last night. You have the New York Liberty, playing MSG. They take a commanding 2-0 lead over the Aces with the 88-84 victory last night against them. And the Lynx, they knotted their series up at 1 with their 770 victory at home against the Sun. Of course, now the series venues will shift to Las Vegas and in Connecticut, Mohegan, I believe, respectively. Oh, and not to be outdone, the MLB started their baseball playoff trek, yesterday. The Lions, they beat up on the Astros 3-1. The Royals, they beat up the Orioles 1-0. You had the Mets double up on the Brewers 8-4. And you had the Padres blanking the Braves 4-0. All right, so Game 2 will be in Houston between the Tigers and the Astros. As you can see, the Tigers are up 1-0. The Royals are up 1-0 with their first pitch starting at 4:30, all times Eastern on ESPN for that one. The game between the Astros and the Tigers, that will start at 2:30 p.m. ABC will take that coverage, and that will be a Minute Maid. The part formerly known as Miller. First pitch will be at 7:30 between the Mets and the Brewers, and Petco Park. The first pitch will be 8:30 p.m. The Padres will try to close out the Braves. Good luck to all 8. Who shall know? Of course, I'm rooting for my Astros, but it just might not be the Cards this year. Turning our attention to weather across the country as powered by the Weather Channel. In the Pacific Northwest, we are dealing with partly cloudy skies and 62 degrees in Seattle. It will be sunny skies and 81 degrees in Minneapolis, sunny skies and 73 in Chicago, sunny, and 75 in St. Louis, again sunny, but 68 in Detroit. Over in the East Coast, it'll be partly cloudy and 65 in Boston, mostly cloudy and 69 in New York, cloudy and 70 in the nation's capital. Down south, it'll be mostly sunny and 89 in Miami, mostly sunny and 83 in Atlanta, sunny and 78 in Memphis, mostly sunny and 88 in New Orleans. Down the southwest, it will be sunny and 94 in San Antonio, sunny and 92 in Dallas, sunny and 93 in Houston. Over in the Rockies, it'll be sunny and 89 in Denver. Of course, the hot spot yet again will be in the desert. Sunny skies with a high of 106 in Phoenix, sunny and 103 in Las Vegas, and on the West Coast. It'll be partly cloudy skies and 94 degrees in Hollywood, sunny skies, and a nice toasty 86 in the Bay Area. And that is your look on weather for today. And now you have been properly started up. Coming up later, we will touch on the life and times of one John Amos, wonderful actor. And also, we will touch on work ethic. That is on lighting the way. But coming up next, we had a presidential debate. No, a vice presidential debate, would actually seem to be civil. We'll touch on how the things broke down, who won, who lost, and who probably stood to gain and can stand to gain from another debate, which might not be forthcoming. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on the Real Wise Radio Network, and we will return right after this.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets. One's from the city, the other's from the country. Both represent the Commonwealth of the Bluegrass State, Kentucky, and they will talk all things Kentucky. And I know they're going to be crowing like a peacock after their victory on the gridiron against Ole Miss. If you want Kentucky sports action and other sports matters, these two are the ones to go to. Join my man Terry Brown and my brother Vinny Hardy as Cats Talk Wednesday. It comes to you live later on today, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, the Vinny Hardy YouTube channel, and the Cats Talk WED Facebook page. That is Cats Talk Wednesday live today and every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on Roku TV. Just at the BS3 logo on Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, the Vinny Hardy YouTube channel, and the Cats Talk WED Facebook page. Welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson, and I'm so glad you're here with me, Shift. I'm glad you're watching or listening. But if you want to do more than just watch or listen, I got the place for you. Join me at BS3 Morning Shift, Cole Johnson's YouTube channel. That is the BS3 Morning Shift, Cole Johnson YouTube channel, where the BS3 Presents Morning Shift with Cole Johnson resides. And if you have a comment, I guarantee you it will be read on the air if it is within reason. BS3 Morning Shift, Cole Johnson's YouTube channel. And when you get there, hit the subscribe button if you have not, and hit the notification bell. We totally appreciate that. And if you don't believe me that the lifeblood of this show is Shift Nation, we're about to head there now. My man, VLock83 or Vikala, he says, good morning to Ship Nation Worldwide. And a grand morning to the EP of all EPs, Cole Johnson. Well, good morning to you, Mr. Locke. Appreciate that. That is, ladies and gentlemen, the Ed McMahon of the Snowman in the Morning podcast, or I should say show, Victor Locke. And you normally can catch them every weekday on SIT Morning and at least right now, Snowman Multimedia, every day starting at 8 a.m. Eastern. Ryan McCarthy, fresh off of his appearance last night of No Credentials Acquired. You can catch that on the No CREDS REQ YouTube channel with him and Dustin Henry. He says, good morning, fellow shifters. And I can actually say to you on air, I am so sorry that the Jets screwed the pooch against the Broncos. But I hope your morning still is wonderful. Actually, I hope your morning is better than the 53 that took the field in the Meadowlands on Sunday. Victor says, rest in peace and power, Mr. Amos. Appreciate that. Ryan says, look, we're barely 5 minutes in and Cole is slanging curse words. Work ethic? I'm sorry, quote, work ethic, close quote. Put them coins in the jar, son. You've been around me too long, Ryan. You've been around me far too long, but I love it. We actually had a debate last night, one that actually resembled something civil. I was going to do program spotlight, but let me do it this way. So there was a debate last night, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My eyes and my ears were deceiving me. I was actually seeing two politicians being civil, and I'm like, wow, okay. They're not passing along digs, although yes, criticisms were there, and I expect that. But I actually heard policies discussed. Policies willing to be discussed by the politicians themselves. I was blown away, and I actually have to say, I got to stand up and applaud. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you, Governor Walz, for actually talking issues, because we didn't get to see the grandstanding that unfortunately we witnessed last month and we witnessed back in June. We actually did not get to hear a lot of beating around the bush. We did still get a lot of that, but not as much. And we actually got the, I think this person who is their opponent would actually back dun 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 dun, which actually lended to itself to bipartisanship. What? Shocked was me. Yes. So if you were under a rock last night, the vice presidential candidates, of course, the senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, from the Republican side, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, on the Democratic side, they were in New York, and they decided to talk some issues. And if you were to get me to say, okay, who did you win? Who did you see win? My answer would be Vance did. And the reason why is because of two reasons. One, I hate to say it this way. Trump last month was so bad. He was so bad that all Vance had to do was just be there, stand up, and represent, basically be the spokesperson for Trump's stuff, and not get in the mode of slinging mud, and just simply speak policy. And the second, the everyman on the other side, Governor Walz, This was one where the moment on the stage seemed to be too large, and I did not think this would be something that we would witness from Governor Walz. He, in his campaign speeches, he has nailed it in the vice presidential nominee acceptance speech. He was flawless, really, and he and he actually channeled himself, not the teacher but the coach, and it actually worked for him. And it made you actually root for the guy because, and I actually said this on my show Mentality, Walls has been a breath of fresh air in politics. He's probably been the first breath of fresh air, dare say, probably uh, since Obama, and I'm only talking about the political campaigns, not policies. In as much as, wow, I'm witnessing something different, I'm seeing something different, because I didn't feel it from Harris, I felt it more from Walls, where it's like, wow, okay, he has this different energy. I like what he's saying. I mean, I back all of what he's talking about, but I actually like the energy. It's kind of cool. You would almost thought it flipped and switched because I actually like the energy that Vance had in last night's debate. Now, if you want to talk about other winners, to me, Vance was by far and away the winner of this. And to me, he made the Trump Vance ticket a little bit more pleasing if you are undecided. But that just shows, it just goes to show how low the expectations were for the senator coming into the debate. I mean, it was really low. And people were thinking that, well, okay, we have this Springfield, Ohio controversy. More mud is going to be slung, especially from the guy who represents the state where the mud is being slung. And yes, that was mentioned in this debate last night, too. But instead of the cold shoulder and the grandstanding and the strategy of, how can I put this? I know you are one of my, the Pee Wee Herman type of poke the bear and poke the bully. We actually saw two guys who were actually being civil. And I really appreciate that. Now, one of the things that impressed me was the moderators too. Um, both CBS moderators, I actually liked them both. Margaret Brennan and Nora O'Donnell. They did not show partisanship. They stuck to the rules, and the they held the I hate to say contestants, but they held the politicians accountable and did not engage in real time fact checking because I think it dragged down the last debate. What I liked was the candidates focused on the issues, and so did the moderators, and it made the debate flow smoother. And I was so shocked that from both lips, from Walls and from Vance, I was hearing bipartisanship stuff, from economics to abortion. I was surprised to actually hear the word agree from both candidates' lips to the other. I'm like, wow, okay, so there actually might be some common ground from not having the atmosphere of I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican, ew, or I'm a Republican, you're a Democrat, ew. Actually, like, our philosophy is a little different, but we do agree on these things. It was rather refreshing to see. Now, because to me, Tim Walz, I think, was the biggest loser in this debate because his higher favorability rating among voters, I think, had to take a hit, especially when he was asked a question about the time that he went to China. And he said that he went during the time that you had the Tiananmen Square standoff, which was in May. That was not the case. And he actually said from his lips that he went to China in August. That was not a good look. Not a good look from the governor. And because of that, to me, the greatest winner outside of Vance and in terms of a politician would be Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro. Now, I have on this air said that I believe that Shapiro should have been the choice that that Harris should have made, considering that Trump went and picked someone from a battleground state. You could have someone you could pick from another battleground state. Well, she decided not to do that, which is understandable. And seeing how the ticket is, I get why Shapiro would not fit the way Harris wanted the ticket to go, because she's running on a platform of joy, and not saying that Governor Shapiro is a killjoy. I just think that Governor Shapiro would be a little bit more straight laced than I think Vice President Harris would have liked. Unfortunately, the robust coach/teacher did not appear in last night's debate, and that hurt him severely, in my opinion. Of course, Springfield, Ohio, got center attention again. And let's think about the 2028 presidential hopefuls, especially from the Republican side. So you had these new faces of Vivek Ramaswamy come in, and you had the old standbys, the Marco Rubios and Nikki Haley's. It looks like Mr. Vance might have made a performance good enough to where this guy might be the front runner for the 2028 presidential race, should he go running. Because to me, this is probably the most coherent and the most composed that Vance was. And when you have that, and you have that civility, that makes those in the center like you even more. Now, what the governor should do, talking about Governor Walz, he should go back and look at some of those pep rally tapes. That might help him along, and hopefully it will. But I commend both gentlemen for actually having a civilized debate. The debate states that it's supposed to be that way. But if I'm going to be completely honest and forthright, the governor of Minnesota hurt himself. The senator from Ohio helped himself. But there might be hope for politics yet. So the ultimate winner might have been us. And if we can have debates like this and civil discourse like this and politicians like Governor Walz and Senator Vance on a public stage that just talk policy and not grandstand, I think we actually might be better off. I hope so. Gosh, I hope so. Now, join my girls, Grace, Felicia, Tanya, and Kim, as they have the intersection of life and spirituality come at you hard and fast. Life Happens. It comes to you live today, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3 Network YouTube channel, and the BS3 Network Facebook page. That is Life Happens. It comes to you live later on today, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Roku TV, just at the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, the BS3 Network Facebook page, and the BS3 Network YouTube channel. Coming up next, we'll remember the life and times of one John Amos. You're watching BS3 Presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on Real Wise Radio, and we shall return right after this. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, W-I-Z-E.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Whether it's the men's college game,
the way that this season has been going, anything is possible.
The women's college game,
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
The WNBA,
AJ Wilson on Twitter 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. This is a BS. If you want a from the actor studio vibe of an interview, join the James Lipton of the crew. That's why YZLFA. He is the man that will plug into the interviewee and get the nugget that you needed and desired. Stuck in My Mind podcast, that comes to you live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3 and the Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel. That is Stuck in My Mind podcast, live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on Roku TV. Just hit the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, and the Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel. Well, welcome back to BS3 Presents The Morning Shift for Cole Johnson. And who has it better than you and me with the symbiotic relationship we have? Thank you, Keith Sweat. Now back to the Shift Nation, shall we? And my man YZLFA, my mentality brother, the Real Wise Radio Network CEO. He says, good morning, shifters, and the James Lipton of the crew, the man that is helming Stuck in My Mind. He says, good morning, shifters. I hope your morning is going well, sir. Now, when I first heard the news of John Amos actually passing away, I actually was when you get news of someone's death, sometimes it's not a whole bucket of tears that pours, but it's a, oh man, it sucks that he or she is gone, but you have this smile. It's almost a rueful smile, like, yeah, man, hate to see this person's gone, but man, the life he led. Wow. And you just think about the goodness of the person. Well, that is how I felt when I caught the news of John Amos passing. And in today's cover story, we'll dig into actually something that was rather strange about his announcement of his death and the things that surrounded it. And we'll also touch on the good times of this actor. John Amos. Now, we know him most famously for being the Black TV father on Good Times. And, of course, we will always remember the death of the show where Esther Roll played the role of Florida Evans, breaking the punch bowl and uttering that one curse word 3 times. And a whole episode where she just was not even trying to grieve the loss of her husband, but she was just overcome with grief in that moment. That was the moment that I knew, wow, this presence was important. And of course, I was really young at the time. I'm like, wow. And I then took the TV death of John Amos or James Evans Sr., I did take that to heart because I was like, oh, won't see this guy again? Oh, not now. The Emmy-nominated actor known for his roles on the ABC groundbreaking miniseries Roots and, of course, Good Times, he is now passed away. Now, he starred as the older Kunta Kinte in that acclaimed miniseries back in 1977. And, of course, he starred as James Evans Sr. on the Norman Lear's 1976 sitcom on CBS, Good Times. Now, the announcement came of his death yesterday. However, he has been dead since August 21st, and his death was of natural causes. And this is said by a representative for the actor. The statement from his son, KC, reads as follows, quote, "It is with heartfelt sadness that I share with you that my father has transitioned. He was a man with the kindest heart and a heart of gold. He was loved the world over." Many fans consider him their TV father. He lived a good life. His legacy will live on in his outstanding works in television and film as an actor. My father loved working as an actor throughout his entire life, most recently in Suits, L.A., playing himself in our documentary about his life journey as an actor, America's Dad. He was my dad, my best friend, and my hero. Thank you for your prayers and support at this time. Close quote. That would be how I would feel about my father when it is time for him to pass. So, KC, my prayers are with you and with your sister. And I hope you can actually heal the divide that I've read that you two have. Now, the actor was born in Newark, New Jersey, near New York, of course. His big break came in 1970, where he played weatherman Gordie Howard on the CBS TV show Mary Tyler Moore Show. And, of course, then he went on to Good Times not too long thereafter. But before that Good Times role, the groundbreaking role came because he was the patriarch that was on the show that Good Times became a spinoff of, and that was Maude. He appeared on Maude, and then Good Times was born. Amos was fired from Good Times after 3 seasons, and his character was killed off. And in a 2020 interview with Vlad TV, of all places, he recalled complaining about scripts because he felt, quote, like I knew more about what a black family should be and how a black father would act than our writers, none of whom were black, close quote. He wanted to say that he wasn't the most diplomatic guy and that he was fired after the writers said, quote, we can't deal with this anymore, close quote. Now, speaking to the Archive of American Television in 2015, Amos said that he was glad to be involved in a project, quote, that changed people's thinking about slavery to some degree and changed people's attitude about their own lineage, close quote. He recalled he almost fainted when he found out that he was being considered for that once-in-a-lifetime role, saying, quote, I couldn't believe it. It was like I hit the lottery, close quote. Now, over the course of the 5-decade career he had, Amos turned in dozens of other performances like, I don't know, Major Grant in Die Hard 2, like Cleo McDowell in Coming to America, and he reprised the role in Coming 2 with the number 2 America back in 2021. He also had a memorable role as Admiral Perry Fitzwallace in NBC's The West Wing, and in recent years, 2.5 Men. Now in Netflix, The Ranch, and HBO's The Righteous Gemstones, he also had appearances on those shows. He was reported to have joined the cast of Suits, the spinoff, Suits LA, earlier this year. And then, according to an obituary provided by a representative, he played himself on this show for the first time ever. And last time ever. Amos served in the New Jersey State National Guard and had a background in sports in addition to acting, and having briefly played for the Chiefs and Colorado State. John Amos, actor, television dad, dead at the age of 84. And that is today's cover story. Now, you might hear this on the upcoming show that I'm about to plug. You might not. Join Butler, Adrian Shawan, and Scotty Knox as these three, with the industry perspective, come to you with a little bit of hip-hop music flair. Is it Wednesday yet? Live tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central on Roku TV via BS3, the BS3 Network YouTube channel, the BS3 Network Facebook page. It is It Wednesday Yet? Live tonight and every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central on Roku TV. Just hit the BS3 logo on the Roku TV app. BS3TVLive.com, the BS3 Network Facebook page, and the BS3 Network YouTube channel. And coming up next, work ethic. How important is it in the eyes of God, in the eyes of Jesus, and in the eyes of a Christian? You're watching BS3 Presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on the Real Wise Radio Network, and we'll be back right after this.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. The Big Ten.
How would people on the campus of Ohio State University, how would they look at Ryan Day?
The SEC.
Until somebody can show me that they can beat Georgia outside of Alabama, I got to roll with the Bulldogs.
The Big 12.
Mike Gundy, show me something. I picked you last year, okay?
The ACC.
I need Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tiger to show me that they are understanding what the mission is at hand.
And the Pac-12. Whoa. I'm sorry, the Pac-2. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down every single week all the hot college football games, bearing down the gridiron on the Playmaker's Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
Welcome back to BS3 Presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson, and let's get right to it, shall we? Had a conversation, no, not with a bronsexual, but with my wife about a family friend of ours, and the theme of it was work ethic, and I won't discuss exactly what it was, but it really hit home. Work ethic in Christianity. How important is it? Lighten the wait time. Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you so much for being in the midst, and thank you so much getting all of us up to do this life, to call a day one that you have made, and we rejoice and we are glad to be in it. And thank you for being in the midst. Your word says when two or three are gathered together in your name, you will be in the midst. And so I thank you for being in the midst here with the shifters and myself. I also thank you for the ethos of hard work. I thank you for what it brings to us, what we learn about ourselves when we do it, and how you reward us when we're at the end of whatever task we employ or we receive from you. May this following message be devoid of my emotions, my ego, and my thoughts. As I say, let me be a lighthouse of your word and not an interpreter of it. And may the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be always acceptable in your sight, Lord. You are my rock and my strength and my redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, I'm going to make this rather simple, actually. Hard work is at the core of who we are as men, for sure. And it's at the core of who women are, too, but definitely with men, because the Lord stresses to men that we have to be about getting our hands dirty, figuratively and literally, and doing the things that the ordinary person wouldn't do. And so I asked Jesus, I said, all right, with this conversation, what do you want me to talk about? And he says, I got the scripture for you. So he directed me to the second letter to the Thessalonians, 3rd chapter, in the 10th verse. He said, Paul said, for when we were with you, we would give you this command. If anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. Again, this is from 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10. For even when we were with you, we would give you this command. If anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. Now, why does this phrase, if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat, exist? It exists because I think we have to understand that nothing worthwhile is ever easy. When you read through all sorts of scripture in the Bible, you understand this. Nothing easy, nothing worthwhile is easy. Everything that people got, including Jesus himself, everything any hero in the Bible got, they did so having to toil to get it, having to struggle to get it even, but having to work hard to get it. And guys, just think about women, especially when you were younger and you saw women your mother's age. And they talked about guys who had a good hard work ethic. And you saw how attracted that woman was, and even your mother, toward any guy who had this hard work reputation about him. They would light up. Well, that's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be inspiration to others around us because we have that ethos. We have the ability to work hard and to earn what we get. So why is work ethic important to Jesus? Well, he didn't get starved. He didn't get whipped. He didn't get beaten. He didn't get dehydrated. He didn't get the thorns placed on his head. He didn't get the nails placed on his hands and feet for nothing. He went through the worst persecution and crucifixion that's ever happened on this earth. And he did that for us. So if he was willing to go to those lengths to prove to us that he is our Savior, then what is hard work to us? It should be nothing compared to that. Plus, the occupation that Jesus had on the earth was that of a carpenter. Think of what carpenters do. That's not easy work. So Jesus gave us the blueprint on this earth. All right, if you're a man, you're gonna be willing to get down, get dirty, and earn. You got to do that. You got to do that. As a man, for sure, you got to do that. As a human being, you got to do it, yes. But as a man, for sure, you got to do that. So how can people stop being impressed with just lip service? Well, it says in the Bible, we have to be doers of the word and not hearers only, right? So if we got to be doers of the word and not hearers only, don't you think it also implies we got to be doers of the word and not speakers only too? I mean, God encourages us to speak the word, obviously, but he wants us to do the actions that are said. So we just can't be impressed with the lip service. We got to be impressed with the lip service and then the muscle and the elbow grease that's applied to it, because it works hand in hand. If the mind thinks it, the body will follow and do it. So people will be impressed with that, but they're more impressed with the lip service, because you can have people who can talk an Eskimo into buying ice. You can have people who can actually sell water to whales. You have people who have to get the gab. And people will be impressed with how people can turn a phrase. That's just how life is. And what is the ultimate reward for possessing good work ethic? You get pats on the back here on earth. You may get the fine woman of your dreams. You may get the wonderful children where you pass along that work ethic to them, like my father did with me. All those are hallmark moments. But the biggest hallmark moment is when you worked hard with everything and that work ethic paid off in every way it did in life, and you transition to heaven and you hear the following words from Jesus when he says to you, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Being a hard worker is a fact of being a Christian. And it definitely is a fact of being a Christian man. If you're willing to work, you're willing to be a man of value and valor. And that nobody can take away from you. Well, that is all the time I have. Thank you so much, Shifter, for being in the midst once again with me. For all of us here at BS3 Network, The Morning Shift, and Coleman Media Incorporated, I am Cole Johnson, here to say in parting, as I always do, if you lack commitment, you will never start. If you lack consistency, you'll never finish. And if you lack love, I guarantee you, Shifter, you will never, ever conquer. So have love in your heart, and you'll start conquering. Now go out to the world, preach the gospel to the ends of the earth, because you are a blessing on this earth. And how do I know that? Because you're a blessing to me. And hopefully, I have been a blessing to you. Have a great rest of your morning, great rest of your day, and be loving to everybody with whom you come in contact. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. God bless you. So long.